All right. Hey, everybody. What's up? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me, see me okay. I never know in these live streams if things are working well. It's been quite a while since I did a kind of like a chill Q&A live stream like this. So I hope today is going to be super fun. Let me call out some of you guys in the comments. I see the guy from Houston, somebody from the Philippines. Yes. All right. Logo Solution. All right. Timmy, hi. All right. Hey, everybody. What's up? Good to see you. Okay. So as I've mentioned, I can't even see how many people are here. What's up with this live stream? All right. Hi from Serbia. What's up? Okay. So here's what I want to do. I want to put on some music, and let me know if you want to put some chill music so we can vibe together. I don't know if you're working or if you're listening to this, wherever you're listening to this. I want to make this kind of like a fun, cool vibe. Hi from Nigeria. What's up, everybody? And yeah, do some fun chatting, and yeah, feel free to drop questions in the chat. I'll also be taking questions from Instagram, and we can talk about anything. Before I get started, just want a little rant. If you want to know what's the bad thing about living in Thailand, it's the time zone. It means I have to do live streams at night, and I'm not really a night person. It's always kind of like I'm at the end of my energy. So that kind of sucked, but I still want to do this for you. I still hope that we're going to have some good times. I want to hear you speak Hebrew, please. Okay. Speak something in Hebrew. שלום, ככה אני נשמע שאני מדבר אנגלית, אם אף פעם בעצם ככה אני נשמע כשאני מדבר עברית. כבר שכחתי איך מדברים עברית מרוב שאני מדבר אנגלית. Alright, so that's it. What's up from Scotland? Also, one thing important to remember before I get started, because I always forget this. This stream is brought to you by Flux Academy, and this week we have wait a second, you need to change your video resolution. The current resolution is not supported. Whoa. I wonder if I can do this while we're streaming. I hope this, I don't even know how we're doing this. Output video. I don't even know how to do this. Open widget. Uh-oh. Wait a second. I need to change something in the stream resolution. Stream size. My God. You guys can hear me and see me okay? Are you sure? Because I'm getting like an error from YouTube. Current resolution is not supported. Okay, you're commenting as if everything is all right. So, yeah, it's all right. Okay, what was I saying? I was saying this week is spring sale at Flux Academy. So all our courses are 30% off. Get our courses, step up your skills. Now's the time. All right, let's get down into the Q&A. All right, so first questions that I saw in the chat from Logo Solution, straight up to the AI questions. Is it possible AI to generate a website to fulfill user needs and business goals? What will the future of web design business be, agencies and web career because of AI? I think this is a question that is being addressed on every single post and video, and on our channels as well, to be fair. Look, I want to say two things. Like, and AI, of course, is getting better and better, but one thing, but the two things that I think are holding true no matter how good AI is number one, when it comes to having a business, having a website that solves business goals, when you're working with the clients to really understand their business goals and the full context of their business, and again, what they're trying to do, it isn't as easy as writing a prompt, like design a website. It usually takes hours of interviewing them, going back and forth, doing strategy sessions that are taking days of conversation, going back and forth, having team dynamics. So, and this is a key part of the web designer who is actually a good strategic consultant to a client to do. And that's why I always said, you never just send a survey and they, bring it back filled to you, because that's not how you're going to help them solve their business goals. So doing all of this facilitation and understanding and having all of this conversation and gathering huge amount of context and then synthesizing this context in your head to come up with the strategy of how the website is going to, fulfill these business goals. That's, I think, and by the way, let me know in the comments if the music is too loud and annoying. Maybe I'll bring it down a notch. So first one, again, the strategy, the context is so big that I think we'll always need a human facilitator there. A lot of things obviously can be done very quickly with AI. And, over the last few years, anyway, we've been working with templates, and a lot of structures and sections have already been, there's kind of like best practices, and AI can help you do that, build very quickly. But then the second thing that I think humans or a designer is always going to be necessary is, and I've talked about this in a recent video, is to make sure that you stand out and make the tough decisions on how we go against the grain, right? How are we not going to do what everybody else is doing? Because at the end of the day, even if AI gives you a lot of suggestions, somebody needs to be responsible. Somebody needs to choose and take the responsibility of, this is the direction that we're going to go with. So I still think that we're going to need a manager with an eye, with a taste, with decision making, with creative thought in the process. So yeah, things are changing, but I think that if you still love helping clients, if you still love building, if you still love creativity, then that's going to be something that you'll be doing for a while. When I'm looking at this glass, I see the trendy web design frosted glass effect. I don't know if you see this, but all I see is web design trends. All right. Okay. Let me see some questions from the chat. Whoa, there's been a lot going on here. Okay. So, hey Ron, I used Flux in the first couple of years. You build it. Thanks for a great course. Thank you, Alicia. I appreciate it. Hey yo, from Latvia, you were one of my main online teachers when I got started. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right, Paul, question. With AI making design execution faster and cheaper, what skills or decisions do you think will become more valuable and one might start to matter less? Very good question. And I think that's the question you need to ask yourself. I think that, as I just mentioned before, you will be the decision maker. So you will need to basically decide what is good and what is not good. What do you want and what do you don't want? So, and to be able to do that, you need to have a good grasp of the fundamentals, because you need to be able to judge something. So you need to know, do the color work? Does the brand work? Does the visual work? Like this is on the design front, but on the technical side, is this built well? Is it optimized? Does it load fast? Does it use the right technology? Does it, does it work from an SEO perspective? So you need to be able to judge if the work is good enough. You need to understand what good looks like. It's kind of like when you move from being, the person who does the work to being the manager. If you just come in and dropped in as a manager, but you don't know the basics of the work that you are managing, then you're not going to be able to be a good manager, because the person doing the work is going to be able to bullshit you, is going to be able to pass low quality work, and you won't be able to judge it. So you can't really manage somebody if you don't understand the basics of what they're doing. So in essence, we've all been kind of like upgraded to creative directors and, you know, design managers. But if you've been upgraded without lacking the fundamental skills, then you can't be a good manager. So you still need to master the fundamentals. I think a lot of the boring, tedious task of, you know, maybe like building and the repetitive and pixel pushing has been saved from you, and that's really, really exciting. You know, the truth is, when I got started with Webflow, it was because Webflow saved me a bunch of time from communicating, either coding myself, which I didn't like, or communicating and reiterating with a developer to build that for me. So doing it myself on Webflow saved a lot of time. Now it seems like AI can save even more time than Webflow. Today I actually played around with having Claude build in Webflow something that I designed in Figma. So it basically did the Webflow build for me, and now I can just manage the websites on Webflow, which is pretty cool. I'm going to record a video on this tomorrow. But the point is, if I didn't know how to build good websites with Webflow, I wouldn't be able to judge whether he did a good build or not. And I also, by the way, told him, hey, use this framework, use the client first website. And then I reviewed the structure and I was like, hey, why did you use this? Do this. So the only way to give feedback is if you understand the fundamentals. So I think that's still going to be key. All right, Designer Nin, how do you get over mental block that comes over the fear of not meeting expectations set by the person, or even worse, yourself? This is a classic problem. I realized that there's kind of like a continuum between, and it's not good or bad, it's just different types of either personalities or value sets. Like on one hand, there is somebody who wants everything to be perfect because they care about quality. On the other side, there's people who want to move very fast to make sure that the deadline's met. And obviously there's a continuum, it's not really binary. And if you're too much on the perfection or quality side, which is basically what you're describing, that basically creates kind of like a block. Nothing is good enough, or sometimes I don't even start designing because I kind of like, no, that's going to suck, even before I begin. And you have to push yourself, I guess, a little bit more into that's the deadline, it has to be done by the deadline. Of course, you want to make sure the quality is as high as possible by the deadline. But at the end of the day, you have to meet the deadline, even if, you know, it didn't meet your expectation and the client's expectation, right? Hopefully it will, and you will improve. But either way, because if you don't hit the deadline, and obviously if you're stuck because you got a mental block, you're not going to hit the deadline, then you're also disappointing the client and yourself. So it's kind of like a lose-lose if you're somewhere too extreme on this continuum, and you got to, I guess Aristotle said this, like the middle way, the golden ratio, or the middle way. You have to be somewhere in between. Try to make sure that you're moving, even if it's not the highest quality possible, but also don't be too trash. Try to be somewhere in the middle. To me, by the way, the practical tip here is, if I feel blocked, I'm just telling myself, okay, forget about that. Let's do something ugly first and then improve it. And that usually kind of like helps me to move along. All right, where were we? How did you get the first client as a fresh web designer? You always help your friends and family for free. I guess that's my approach. Of course, you can go on Upwork or something, but I just help people for free. I share the work. Other people see what I can do. Eventually, somebody wants to pay me. Real designers have no creative limitations, but AI has limits, so stand proud. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Not a question, so I'm just like, yeah. All right. Cream Biscuit 7. What price should I set for my first project as a Webflow developer? That's pretty broad because I don't know how complicated the project is and I don't know who the client is. But the point is, this is your first project. It doesn't matter. You do not do the first project to get the best price possible. You do it so that you can learn, so that you can have something in your portfolio, so that you can have a testimonial. So the price doesn't matter that much. I mean, it can be 200, it can be 500, it can maybe be 1,000 if that's acceptable, but it doesn't really matter because the point here is you're learning and you're starting to build track record. Don't overthink this. Just do the project. I use High Level as my marketing platform. How difficult it is to integrate with Webflow? I don't know what High Level is. I guess I can Google that, but assuming that you mean like a CRM or something like this, usually, for example, we use a CRM or marketing automation, email marketing automation called OnReport. It doesn't natively out of the box integrate with Webflow like HubSpot or something like this. So we use Make automation. So basically, if somebody submits a form on the website, Make takes the data, sends it to our marketing platform. So I guess the answer is using Make or Zapier or something like this. All right. Road Adams. How do you deal with a client who has a really poor logo and branding but wants a website? Is it within the web dev's interest to provide possible alternative? Do you just work with what you have? Good question, and actually happens a lot. I would, as part of the discovery, which is figuring out really what the problem is, I would address that issue there. And I would say, possibly, again, if that's the situation, hey, look, you can't reach your business goals without solving this issue as well. Like, and I can use a metaphor. I would say, look, if you're trying to lose weight right now and you say, hey, give me a workout, but I'm still going to eat trash and junk food all day long and snack all day long, but I don't want to change my diet, just give me the good workout and I want to look great, I can give you the workout, but it doesn't really work if you don't also change your diet. You need to have both of them for you to reach your goal. And I think that we can say the same about your situation. I mean, I can build you a website, but the truth is we also need to fix your branding, because the way that your branding looks like right now, it's not inspiring trust and it doesn't look credible and it doesn't look premium. So people are not going to buy from you, and they're not going to pay you the prices that you want to pay when you look that way. So again, I would do this as kind of like advice, try to convince them that they need this. And obviously I would also help them fix it. If they still don't want to do this, you can decide whether you want to sell them like the workout without the diet, and it's like, okay, I told you it's not going to work, but you've asked for it, so I'm giving it to you. Or you can say, look, I'm not interested in half-assing this. Like, right, if you just want half the job, maybe somebody else can do it. I'm interested in really helping clients succeed. And I think that if we just half-ass this project, we're not really going to succeed here. So I don't want to take this. I mean, depending on where you are and what your approach, you can do both of them. So depending on how you want to handle this. If an agency can use Webflow, why exactly would they hire me? That sounds ridiculous to my friends when I said I'm going to do Webflow. I'm not sure I understand the question, but a client, so I'll explain the hire. A client might need you, a client who doesn't know Webflow. Any company that doesn't have Webflow developers might hire you to build their website. An agency would hire you even if they have Webflow developers, just like an agency sometimes hires designers just because maybe they are fully, like, they got a new project, they don't have enough people inside right now to do this, so they hire like a freelancer to help or white label some of the work that they're doing. So this is why an agency would hire you, even if they have Webflow developers in-house, just to extend their capabilities, I guess. And it's good for them. They don't pay you like a salary. They just pay you when they need you. So for them, it's good. Okay. Hey bro, I have 1 year only, and I know HTML, CSS, and Node.js and MongoDB. Apart from this, I know basics of Figma and Webflow, but now comes interesting part. I cannot purchase Webflow Framework subscription. Okay, but I guess if you're building for clients, then the clients pay the hosting. With Webflow, yeah, it's best if you have a paid workshop, but yeah, I don't know what to say, dude. If you're investing in your business and that's your tool, you have to figure this out. I mean, part of it can be I take down payment from my clients, which you should anyway, and that pays for the subscription or something like this, but it's your tools. It's like saying I'm a designer, but I can't afford a laptop. So you can't do the work, right? So you have to find a way to pay for the tools that you're using. All right. Pat under design. Hey, I'm starting my web design career. What tools and skills should I focus in 2026 to become industry ready, not just a beginner? So we talked about this. Tools, I mean, it's an interesting time to get into web design. On the one hand, it's never been easier to get started, and the tools make it easier on you. But on the other hand, things are changing very fast, and it can be a little bit overwhelmed in terms of the tools. So there's basically two things. There's what's working around. I'll talk about the tools, but I'll also talk about the skills, because I've mentioned the skills earlier. You really need to have a good grasp on the fundamentals of design, meaning color, typography, layout, the core design skills. Also, web design and understanding strategy and understanding telling a story on web design and what does a good user experience looks like on the web. So that's on the skill side. On the tool side, there's what's working right now, which is mainly Webflow and Framer working right now, but also AI is changing the game very, very fast. So you don't want to just learn what's up and coming, like all the AI tools, because maybe that's going to be super, super valuable in 6 months to 1 year, but you can't really use that right now. So you have to, in a way, learn what's working right now, but also keep an open eye on what's happening and what's changing and what's developing. So if you ask me again, I would pick, I don't think Figma is cooked or dead. I think it's good to know Figma. You'll always want to fine tune your design. So I think Figma is a core tool, and pick one, Webflow or Framer. You don't have to pick both of them. Get started with one. Those would be, there's a lot there to do in the first year. So definitely check our courses, 30% off until the end of the week. And we have Web Career Ignite, which includes all of our courses and mentorship for a year. So perhaps that's the way to go. All right, I'm 15, new to this field, but where do I go learn about AI tech designing, find my first client, beginning, but I'm proud of my design. That's very cool. I think if you're young, definitely make use of YouTube. There's a bunch of great stuff on YouTube. Currently, the most up-to-date workflows and all of the AI content is on YouTube, on X as well, by the way, Twitter. A lot of the AI stuff is getting shared on Twitter first, which is also an interesting place to be. But yeah, in terms of design, I mean, if you can afford a course, that's great. But if not, I mean, YouTube, is just great. There's tons of great stuff on YouTube. Thoughts on Framer? Framer, I don't know. I think Framer is in an interesting position, and it will be interesting to see what they do going forward. On one hand, they kind of tackled a nice space where they're kind of like a maybe easier and more lightweight Webflow alternative, and then they also went head-to-head to compete with Figma, saying, hey, you basically can design and develop in the same tool, which is actually a great offering for people who are getting into web design. It's very intuitive, and you can do everything in one tool. So that's actually a great offering. But now that, again, we'll have to see just how they adapt to AI and how they integrate it. So far, they've been first to move, integrating kind of like an AI builder into them, and then the workshopping feature. So far they've been moving fast. It's going to be difficult, challenging to, I think, everybody like Figma, Framer, and Webflow to see how they are adapting to all of this new technology. But so far they've been moving very fast and doing really great stuff, and I like the team. I think they're doing a great job. So yeah, I'm bullish on Framer at this point. What are the major features that you use of the newest FinSuite extension in Webflow? I feel like ashamed a little bit to say that I don't use the FinSuite extension in Webflow, but that's honestly just because I don't do as much building in Webflow these days as much as I used to. So yeah, especially I don't build huge projects, and so I don't use that much. All right, where are we? All right, Lizzie, I'm new in the industry and getting overwhelmed with the different tools and ways to create a website, including the prompt-based tools. How should I realign my direction in learning? Damn, I tried to address that a little bit earlier, and I'll try again, because I do think that it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming for me, so I'm sure it's overwhelming if you're just getting started. But I think you should do some kind of a, I would say 30, 30, 30. Okay, so whatever time you have for learning, I would divide it in 3. Again, doesn't matter. If you have 10 hours a week, I would do like 3, 3, 3 or something like this. 9 hours. 3 hours, learn fundamental design skills. Okay, and again, I've mentioned this earlier. Learn color, theory, typography, layout, just general kind of like graphic design, essentials of graphic design, what we call core design skills. By the way, that's in the Flux course. We do this on the course that's called core design skills. And then 33% of your time, I would do web design tools that you need for right now. I would start with Figma, and then again, Framer or Webflow. And then 33%, I would try to experiment with new AI-based workflows and tools. And we'll, by the way, we'll share kind of like a recommended stack soon. We're now working on kind of like a AI web design sprint to get people familiar with what we think might be the best stack or workflow that's working right now. But anyway, I think you should have a structured kind of like 33, 33, 33, and perhaps that would help you to be less overwhelmed, I guess. All right, Alex, question about job search. I tried a more creative approach, made a custom 3D render for your company to stand out and show my skill. Spent a full day on it, but got no response from your team. Okay, I don't know. I don't know, by the way, if this is a specific, if this is like a general thing or if it's something specific for us. But I don't know. The point is, the fact that you spend a lot of time on it doesn't necessarily mean that it's valuable to the person that you send it to. Like, again, I'll just give me as an example right now. We're now looking to hire for sales and marketing roles. If somebody sends me like a 3D rendering, that might not be relevant. Or like, and again, I don't know if you're using 3D to sell your skills as a marketer, or you're trying to sell your 3D skills, but we're not hiring for 3D artists right now. So again, I don't know, but the point is, it's good to think about how to stand out, but it needs to be relevant to whoever you're approaching. Smokey, currently learning Framer, simply building out my designs from Figma. What tips do you have for me? I'm quite familiar with Figma design background. What tips do I have for you? It sounds like you're heading in the right direction. Not sure why you're not using the Framer page, Framer design, I think it's called, right? Because you can design inside of Framer and then it's easier to develop. So I would check that out. What else do we have here? For a corporate UI UX designer to make a portfolio, what should we use? Framer or something else? Doesn't really matter, whatever works. Framer University? I'm currently working as a web designer at a fast-paced startup. Work they expect is crazy high quality. I get stressed keeping up with their expectation. What do you think could help me navigate this? Honest conversation with your team about expectations and about, yeah. Again, I don't know. I think it's good that they have high expectations out of you. And I think it's good. A little stress is good to push you into, again, not being too relaxed and too kind of like, I wouldn't say lazy, but you know, we get into the habit of doing the work. So a little bit of stress is good. If it's too stressful, then it might be impacting your health and your performance. So too much stress is not good. I think a healthy balance of stress is good. If you feel like the stress is getting into the unhealthy space, then I think you need to have a conversation with them about it and how to adjust to realistic expectations that are not going to burn you out. I want my client to be able to easily change their text. Work with Webflow then. It's easy for clients to edit Webflow websites. I'm a beginner in the field of UX UI design, so can you please suggest me some AI tools for learning? I mean, we're sharing everything that... Dang, I made a noise. We're sharing here everything that I think is helpful. I'm not sure what you mean by the terms of UX UI, but by the way, I saw another question on Instagram whether product design and web design are the same. They are not the same, and a lot of times when people say UX UI, it's not clear what actually are they designing. Are they designing product or are they designing websites? Because these are two different things. Both has user experience and user interfaces in them. So the term UX UI is misleading and confusing a lot of times because it's not clear what it is that you're designing. But if you by UX UI you mean you're designing products, and there's a lot of, I guess, new tools and new frameworks for developing using AI. We're usually not covering all of them here on the channel just because we're more focused on web design. But I can tell you what I'm doing personally, just because I am currently trying to build a bunch of experiment with vibe coding and all of these new AI tools. I just basically open up 4 different tools and try the same prompt, try to build the same thing with 4 different tools to see which one is the best, because I don't have the answer. And also, we're currently kind of like on a cycle that I've saw this quick funny meme, which is like, OpenAI is the best, and then there's an arrow, Claude is the best, and then there's an arrow, Gemini is the best, and then it's kind of like a circle, and it says you are here, basically saying, next week it's going to be the other algorithm is good, and then that one. And I think it's the same with the tools. So like for app design, there's a bunch of, or vibe coding, there's a bunch of, like Lovable, Base 44, Replit, now Google AI Studio, and there's a bunch of them. And I can tell you right now, oh, this one is the best, and then in 2 weeks we'll discover the other one is the best. And then, so for now, all we have to do is we have to keep experimenting to find out what's best right now. All right, Obsidian Olympus. I'm new to Webflow. I have a client who wants me to revamp their DA website. Their current website is done in Webflow. New UX is somewhat similar. What do you suggest? Start from scratch or edit existing? Hard to tell with just this as context. I don't know how good the current build is, like how good is the styling and the structuring. Are there variables? Are there components? I can tell you that when we revamped the Flux website, we decided to build it from scratch because so many things have changed in terms of Webflow's capabilities since we've built the previous versions where, there were no variables and, components were a little bit different. So it was just preferable to start building everything from scratch. One thing that, and by the way, in development, they call this refactoring, where you might want to take something old and then rebuild it using new technologies and new frameworks. Perhaps, and I'm now thinking about this, maybe you can actually refactor a Webflow website using Claude or something like this, because it could read this website and use it to rebuild it another way on a new project. So I would look into that. But again, the real question is, what's the situation of the current build? Is it good? Is it not good? Yeah. I'm still seeing the YouTube telling me that my video resolution is very bad or not supported, and I'm worried. But I see that you're here, and I hope that we're all having a good time here. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. Hey Basil or Ron, long time no see. I was on the first batch of Webflow developers in Flux community 6 years ago. Course changed my career, so no question, but thanks a lot for everything. Good to see you, brother. Really appreciate the comment. All right, as a newbie, after learning front-end dev, starting to use Framer, what is the most no AI tools I need to learn? What is the next step besides the practicing? I think I've mentioned this a couple of times now on the call. I don't think you need to be worried about what the AI tool is, because as I've just said, every 2 weeks it's going to be something else. What you need to worry about is having the ability to know if what the AI gave you is any good. And to do that, you don't need to learn about AI, you need to learn about design. Because if you don't know what you want, you don't know what to ask, and you don't know how to judge what you're getting, no AI tool is going to help you. So it's not that forget about AI. Try the AI and change the current AI every 2 weeks. That's the world that we're living in right now. But make sure that you do this with, make sure you do it with a good grasp of the fundamentals. Hello, are templates still working? I'm planning on doing it for Framer and create an audience. Of course, there's lots of variables depending on how good the market is for templates. Good question. To be super honest, I don't know because I'm not in this business. Everything I know about the Framer and Webflow template business is seeing what template creators share, mostly on X. And it seems people are making money on it, but is it a good time? And is it worth the effort to get into this right now and try to build an audience just for this? I don't know. I think that the first people who got into this, the Framer marketplace, did a bang, did a lot of money. But now it's probably difficult to get in. It's probably crowded. And I'm also seeing that, the shift towards maybe AI templates in a way, or something like this. Like basically AI feels like it's going to be the new template, because people are going to basically, I don't know if sell or something, but basically going to give people prompts that deliver very good results from AI. So I think that's the next thing, right? Maybe either customize Claude skills, or some kind of a custom prompt that generates like a beautiful website. That's, I feel like, is the new version of templates. I don't know how this is going to look like. How is it going to be monetized? Maybe you want to be the person that opens up this prompt marketplace or something like this. But my bet, I would go for, where the trend is going versus where, again, I still think people are making money out of it, but it's I wouldn't bet on it because it feels like a lot of hard work to win at this space right now. Whoa, guys, lots of questions. Everything is moving here, a lot of fun. Still got a chance for freelance web design beginner? Yeah, definitely. This is, again, where I think the internet is a little bit hypey. Meanwhile, the world is just going on its way. And by the way, so I was going out for lunch today, and I was sitting in a restaurant, and there was like a bunch of young people in the table next to me, and I was kind of like eavesdropping. So this guy was sitting with two girls. They were like, "Hey, so what do you do?" And he was like, "I do kind of like graphic design, and I design, social media posts and that kind of stuff." And they were like, "Oh, wow, do you need a job?" They basically offered him a job, and he was like, no, I'm quite happy with my freelancing. So that is just to say that, number one, people are still making money as graphic designers, doing simple things like social media posts, not even complicated things like web design. And number two, there are people who still need those people enough to offer them a job. And so it's the dynamic in the market is really not what the hype is all about. And it's like, oh, designers are cooked. No, designers are working, they're getting paid. And get started. If you're excited about it, if you want to learn, if you want to play, if you want to be good at it, then definitely keep on doing it. Go for it. It's an amazing time to get started. Parash, I don't appreciate you trying to hijack the comments like this with copying and pasting. Guys, that's just makes my life difficult. So don't like paste your comment gazillion times. That just makes stuff super hard. All right. Web designer versus creative developer, who has more leverage? That's a good question. That's a good question. Who has more leverage? I would say that the answer depends on the project, because creative developer, for example, there's a lot of great project, even like huge 100K enterprise projects that are pretty straightforward in terms of development, meaning you don't have to have like a creative developer. You can have just like a regular developer and he'll be able to do the job. So in that kind of a context, the creative developer has no leverage, or at least no special leverage, while the web designer can have a lot of leverage. On the other hand, there's a project where they have to have this specific animation, or it needs to be immersive, it needs to be seamless, there needs to be some kind of a very special animation that only a creative developer can do. And if he can't do it, they can't do the project. In that case, he would have all of the leverage. So I think it really depends on what the project is. And of course, whoever you are, you want to focus on projects where you have leverage. I think that would be smart. Okay. Are Gen UI going to be future mentioned by NMG Odds? Whoa. Okay, picking up my question. As a beginner, which should I go first or must? I heard first client, very restrictive for a designer, or would recommend something else. I guess we're talking about client first or must as I guess we're talking about Webflow framers here. I would say client first. It doesn't matter if it's restrictive. I feel like it's the most popular framework in Webflow. So I think if you're a beginner, get started in that. And of course, you can move into other things later on. But that's kind of like the most popular one. So if you're working on a project, if you're collaborating with other people, that's the thing that I think will make you the easiest to collaborate with. So I would start with client first. What kind of project do we need to have in a portfolio, like dashboard or delivery app? And do we need to have a prototype links in it? Should we make it like a live website? Look, I don't think that you need to have any. You don't need to have any project. I mean, if you have a good portfolio, it will work with whatever project you have. There's not like a necessary type of project. And the more experienced people can feel the product, the more chance they have to see your experience. So I think a prototype is better than just screenshot. And now like building an interactive prototype, or actually building out this app, which is now so easy with all of the AI vibe coding tools. Show people that you can do this. Show your clients that you can bring in projects to not just mock-up, but you can actually execute farther. I think it will increase your chances. So the more you show, the more proof you have, and I think it will increase your chances. Is MacBook Neo a good machine for web design? I don't know. I haven't tried it, but honestly, these days, you don't need such a strong machine. I mean, most of the stuff runs in the cloud. I mean, we used to need like Photoshop. Like the reason I needed a strong computer was I needed a Photoshop that can open up a PSD that weighs 1 GB, and I didn't want to wait 4 minutes to load up the file. That's why you need a strong computer. Today, you load Figma. I mean, everything is in the cloud. You don't really need, I mean, unless you're doing 3D stuff. I'm doing video editing for 4K video. Okay, so I need like a computer. But if you're just doing web design and mostly in Figma, and you don't need such a strong computer, so I guess it's good. I don't know. All right. Hey Ron, any favorite code tool to design cool stuff? Gemini, Claude, Lovable, Paper, whatever you tried. I tried working with Cursor, and today I tried Claude Code to develop with Webflow. Having Claude Code transfer my Figma file into Webflow. I'm going to record a video on this tomorrow. I already mentioned that. So for now, I'm playing around with those. Is there any scope for web designers to use AI for ideation? Because to me, it feels manually looking for inspiration for 1-2 hours is better than experimenting with the prompts. I don't think that you can use AI to do the mood boarding stuff. I think in that phase, you need to just look at a lot of stuff and select stuff. So you can't really prompt it. I mean, it's better to just go on Pinterest or Behance or something like this, or Google Images, and start picking up stuff rather than write a prompt and get like 1 or 2 images. That's not an efficient use of AI, I think. So for mood boarding, I would still not use AI. Maybe I would use AI to upload my mood board and then use that as design inspiration to get some some ideas going from there. But yeah, to build a mood board, I wouldn't build it. Do you know of agencies based in developing nations, like those in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia, that work with American clients without lowballing their prices? What strategy do they? Of course. The question is, of course. I mean, I've seen many successful agencies in India. I've seen, specifically now I'm in conversation with Meaningful, which is a Webflow enterprise agency based in Mexico, and they're working with a bunch of American clients. So yeah, definitely there are many examples. In your opinion, what's the best way to leverage my web design and framework development skills to make the most money right now? By finding clients who want to build high value unique framework websites, I guess. I'm very struggling making websites responsive in Webflow. I struggle with REM, EM, pixels, and responsive. What would you recommend me to do? Join the Webflow Masterclass, work with our mentors, and they will help you out, I guess. Yeah. All right. Are you getting bored? I'm not getting bored, but I feel like my voice is getting tired. So I think I'm going to wrap it up for today. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time with you. So with that, I'm going to say goodnight, at least good night for me, because it's like 10 p.m. here. So I'm going to go to bed, and I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you next time. Yeah. Peace out, everyone.